I also want to go across to Rekha Rao, who also now joins us from the Hyderabad studio. Rekha Rao, we've also spoken before, when the verdict came out. How are you reading the move today? This comes less than 24 hours after the Prime Minister said that Sabrimala is a matter of tradition and shouldn't be confused otherwise.
Yes, it is a question of tradition, not a question of gender equality, nor it is a question of style, nor it is a question of fashion, nor it is a question of misogamy. Firstly. Secondly, we need to understand what women not entering the temple. It is not something new. It is not gender inequality, because number of times in the same studio, I repeated, there are 6 temples where men are not supposed to enter. Not only in India, in the world, there are some monasteries where women are not permitted. Here it is a question of the character of the temple, which we need to respect. And when we talk about fundamental rights, whether it is of women or religious institutions, the Supreme Court has to do its homework, then it has to take the decision. And what I feel, the episode what has happened today, 3:45 a.m. Let me complete, please. The 3:45 a.m. what has happened, it is a conspiracy, midnight operation we can call, firstly. And secondly, I wonder what was the need for the cops to go in civvies, why not in the uniform? Thirdly, again, the women who entered, were they really the devotees? In case they were devotees, silently they would have gone, prayed and come back. Why did they have the video footage? Most of the time in religious places, we are not expected to carry the camera. How come these people did? Is it the real devotion, or did they want that limelight or something like that? It is not at all a question of gender discrimination.
Okay. Let's
one more thing, one more thing, just last thing.
Would you want to respond to this? That what we are saying is that both sides are devotees. We cannot claim that one side are devotees and the others are not true devotees, as Rekha Rao would say. How would you read the move? I mean, do you think this could have been done in a better fashion?
See, we tried. I mean, all the women, they tried earlier also, and they were sent back and violently. Not that they were sent back by request or something. As Tripti Desai also tried to enter, she was threatened. They were threatened to go back. So, I mean, they tried normal course, and 40 days, 41 days rituals, yes, they should follow and go. I completely agree, but do you keep checks and balances of those people, those who are going, whether they have followed or not? Do you have a checklist? Do you go peep into their houses? As gentleman was saying, that they twist and turn, as per their convenience, they twist and turn all the rituals. They are going in the shoes. But one small change for women, I mean, you really want to know whether she followed rituals or not? Let it happen, because we tried normally, but now that they have gone, whether midnight, whatever, however, civil dress, with the protection of police or without the protection, the beginning has been done, and let it happen. Why are you poking your nose again and again? And don't just say that who's a true devotee. You can't say that. Somebody who has reached there and want to enter the temple, not to get limelight, definitely. And I've been reading some awful comments on Facebook. People are saying they'll be cursed, they'll go to hell. I mean, these kind of devotees, you are cursing the people, those who have entered the temple. I think it is very subjective. Who's a true devotee, who's not a devotee.
I have a question to you, but first I want to go back to another thing of the BJP. Another thing, what I was asking you earlier also, that I know what stand your party has on this entire event that has taken place, but the question is really simple. Are we talking about equality at the cost of violence? Because look really what happened through the day today. There were unruly scenes in the state of Kerala. Police had to engage in lathi charge by the end of the day. Do you think there is no other middle ground?
Riddhima, first of all, violence in the name of women is not taken for at all. But there are people, there are groups, there are forces, there are political parties who has their own political agenda or their hidden agenda, who wants to insult our Hindu religion in the, or I can say behind the curtain of the Constitution, by claiming Article 14, 15, 17, and they forget Article 25. See, if you talk about Lord Ayyappa, we know very well that he is he's a regional lord, and he has got own culture and values attached to that temple, to the Lord as well, and we should respect that. Every family in India, abroad, anywhere in the world, they have got their own culture and values, and family seniors, they expect
Okay,
that
okay.
those values and that culture should be followed by the family members. So why
Exactly
behind-
what I was asking, Anila, saying that yes, we want to respect both sides of the devotees, and saying that yes, it is a matter of faith and tradition for them. And I started off by saying that yes, there should have been a middle ground. But all that I'm asking you is the violence at the end of the day justified? I mean, look what happened through the day. There could have been a discussion, there could have been a conversation, but instead there were unruly scenes across the state. They've called for a hartal, they've called for a dawn to dusk band. I mean, does this really justify it?
But that is the character of the Communist Party there. They keep on attacking Bharatiya Janata Party workers. They keep on attacking RSS workers. They keep on murdering them. By doing so, they just want to show that we have got least respect for the people who love their culture and the value and the religion. So, if they want to bring some sort of peace, then the ruling government in Kerala, it should come in front, and they should play some positive role. But on the other side, they are attacking Bharatiya Janata Party workers. Bharatiya Janata Party workers are simply standing with all those devotees, or I can say with all those followers who have got deep faith in Lord Ayappa. Are they doing anything wrong? No, they are not.
Okay. I want to get Yogita Bhai in, but before that, I also want to go across to Kavita Krishnan. Kavita Krishnan, you're a women's rights activist, and you've had your stand very clear for a long time now. But look what happened. Barely 24 hours after the Prime Minister gave an interview yesterday, and he said that we should not confuse what the issue at Sabrimala is. Sabrimala is an issue about faith and not gender. Today morning, we saw 2 women enter the temple shrine. How are you reacting to it?
I think it's very welcome that 2 women have been able to enter Sabarimala for the first time since 1991. We have to remember here that this is an implementation of the Supreme Court order, which undid the court order of 1991, which had forbidden women's entry. So this is not a case of court versus tradition. It is a case of court versus court, of constitution versus court.
Okay, fair enough. Understood where you stand on this issue. But Yogita, what I want to understand, I do know that you're in support of the women entering the temple shrine. But, this really started after the Supreme Court's verdict. But don't you think there is a flaw itself there? Because it was the same Supreme Court which went ahead and even accepted a review petition. If they were so sure of their verdict, then why even engage in accepting a review petition? Then are we then going to go back to this whole debate and discussion, because you still think that we haven't reached a middle ground?
See, this is the beauty of our constitution. It gives remedy to everyone, everybody a chance to hear, to be heard. So definitely they have given a review petition. It doesn't stop the earlier judgment which allows the entry to women, and I'm very much sure on 22nd they are just going to hear the whatever so-called devotees argument. Let's see. I mean, I'm not very sure. And I also want to bring into your notice about this whole Purification Act which has been going on since morning. This is itself is a contempt of court. They should now take care of that also, that they cannot go against Supreme Court order and go to that extent that they have shut the temple's door just because women entered. So it's human right violation in that sense, not even gender rights violation. I would call it human right violation. It means you're putting women so down, and you are making it like sound like she is from third world, or I mean whatsoever. And as Anila ji was saying, it was a fight for faith and tradition. I want to tell her that dowry was also our tradition, child marriages were also our tradition, sati pratha was also our tradition, faith. But we had to do away with it. So similarly, we have to do away with anything which discriminates. Whether even men are not allowed in the temples, it should also be do away with. So people should come forward and fight for it. Men should come forward and fight for it. apply in the Supreme Court, appeal. So I mean, it's not about that. It's everything which is wrong
I will
should
come
go
back
away.
to this. I want to quickly get in Deepa Rahul Ishwar also, who's been patiently waiting. Deepa, you already said and made your stand very clear on where you stand on this issue regarding Sabarimala and the women entering, where you think this is a breach of faith and tradition for Ayyappa devotees like you. But, you know, if you look at what happened through the day after the women entered the temple shrine was shut for what was being called as a purification process. The other side of devotees can then say who gave the right to the priest and this could be a contempt of court.
No, I think, you know, if who has given the right for these activists to enter Sabarimala through the back gate without even entering, without even striding the 18 holy steps and then call themselves a devotee? All that can be said that it is constitutional, it's about right to equality and all that. But here you're talking about a tantri who actually holds the position of the father of the deity, and you're questioning his decision to close the temple. So then I think media should actually question the rights of how come these activists enter the temple in the wee hours without even daylight, and they claim that it's a victory, but then you're questioning the actions of the chief tantri. You're talking about the chief priest there. Another thing, if you look at it more closely, you cannot be a believer by picking and choosing what you have to believe. If you are a believer of the Hindu religion, forget the Hindu religion. If you are a believer of Sabarimala, Ayyappa, you cannot just believe in certain aspects of Sabarimala and not in certain other aspects. If you are a believer of Sabarimala, you would know what is the nature or character of the deity there. So you would believe it as a whole. In that sense, if a tradition of the temple is broken, the chief priest of the temple has every right to decide what needs to be done. So I think we are not anybody to ask him. The constitution is not anyone to ask the chief priest as to why did you close the temple. The temple's matter is not constitutional and the constitutional matter is not temple. I think there are two different entities altogether. So the chief priest has decided that way. It is along with the Pandalam royal family as well. I think they know that there can be consequences for it, and they did what they felt is right, and with which entire whole Kerala is standing by them. So I think this kind of questions should be asked back to probably the left-led government or to these young women who claim to be devotees, who claim to be activists, as to who gave them the right to hurt our religious sentiments. They cannot call themselves devotees because they could have waited for just another 3 weeks.
You know, Deepa, Deity is not your property, Deepa. Deity is not your property. You don't own it. You don't own the temple. Please understand that. It's a private, it's not a private property.
Yogita, I will just come to you. I also quickly want to go to Annie Raja because I want to take the same question that I asked Deepa Rahul Ishwar. I want to ask the same question to Annie Raja as well. You know, this whole closing of doors that really happened after for what was being seen as a purification process, the devotees on the other hand would see this as a contempt of court. What do you see as the future repercussions for this?
You see, first of all, Happy New Year to all your viewers also. It is really a happy news which we are getting from Kerala. On 1st of January, more than 50 lakh women, they stand just like a wall. That program was actually against anti-women positions and attitude of BJP and Sangha Parivar outfits, and also the Congress, which is on the one hand claim that they are for gender equality, but when the question of the Supreme Court verdict and its implementation comes, they have taken a different stand. So women have come together and they declared that they want to move ahead, not to back or be confined into 4 walls of the kitchen or the house. That is what. And just after that, the Sabarimala temple, 2 women went and they have done the darshan of Lord Ayyappa. And this is also a very happy news because the Supreme Court has given that verdict that irrespective of age, everyone, all those who want to go and do a darshan.
Understood. At this point, I know Suresh Koshed wants to respond. Suresh, I'm sorry, I had to cut you off earlier. I know you have a dissenting view to what Annie Raja was saying. How are you reading the entire move? Because do you think, have we reached a stage that too much damage has been done and no middle ground can really be reached?
happening right now is that many of the panelists who spoke here have absolutely no idea where Pandalam is. Okay? How does Lord Ayyappa relate to Pandalam? Deepa is an expert in that. She is from the family which comes from the traditional priest family through her husband's side. But that is not the point. The point is that deity has its own rights. Lord Ayyappa is a Naistika Brahmachari. Every other Ayyappa temple in the